Since this is an event about women and momentum, I thought it would be best to tell you exactly what my perspective is. And I found it in a saying, not written by me, but I thought that you would enjoy it too. And here we go. Life is not a journey from the beginning to the end, where you end up safely and attractive, right to the coffin. Rather, it is that you slide in sideways, chocolate in one hand, martini in the other, body totally worn out, thoroughly used up, and screaming, "Woohoo! What a ride!" And what a ride it is. But the question I've pondered for years has been, what do we do during those challenging times? You know, and we've all had them, some more than others, as we've heard this morning. But I was a sick child, almost died. I was bullied in school. I was a skinny thing, not too smart. So those things stay with you. And one of the challenges of today is caregiving. How many resonate with that today? Oh, well, that's about right. 68% of the women in this room and in this country are family caregivers. Just think about it. You're asked to do things that you never thought you'd have to do. Plus, you have to be resilient for two people, because the engine that drives momentum is resiliency. You can't keep moving without it. And by the way, I want to tell you how resilient I am. This right eye is dripping, but I'm not crying yet. So just don't be nervous, anybody. So what I want to tell you about caregiving is that's the time that you need your friends. If you don't have any, you have the beginning right now. Think how lucky we as women are. We have each other. And men, they have their partners, maybe, but they feel weak if they tell someone they're not feeling up to snuff. So we are fortunate. So when your friends call you and say, "Would you like to go out to dinner?" And you, of course, say no. This time they just take your coat and they put you in the cab, and there you go. So if you don't have friends, please, I'm going to reiterate that. You have to do it. You have to find it. You need it. You need to take a resiliency renewal break. You need to step away from the situation. It's similar to being on a tough project and you go walk the block. It's running into the ladies' room when you're in a difficult negotiation. And of course, they have their cell phone, so they're saying, "Dr. Tess, what do I do?" Or you pull away from the computer. You have 1 minute to close your eyes and deep breathe. Now, I've worked a lot with corporations, and I've never been able to figure out why they don't have a resiliency renewal program. Instead, we have people who don't love their work. 70% of the population is either emotionally disengaged or not happy with it. Well, that tells me there's something off here, and all we may need would be a minute or two to meditate, just to be quiet within ourselves. So, what do we need? We need that backbone of momentum, resiliency. Some people define it as grit and determination and ability to bounce back. I call it an unambivalent commitment to life. You don't have to agonize over it. You just know that this life is worth living, and it is. This life is worth living. And Marvin Gaye said it the best. Ain't no mountain high. Ain't no valley low. Ain't no river wide enough to keep me away from you. This is what it's all about. It's within you. So what do we have here? Resiliency renewal, knowing that it is with you, inside of you. You have it. You can't will it. You have to work it. It's catching another wave when you feel that undertow. It's knowing that it'll be there. Do you buy insurance for your car after you've had the accident? You can't wait until resiliency is called upon during caregiving, during a trauma, during getting fired. Do you think men ever thought that they would not be president of the company or an executive? Look how lucky we are. We know that we can talk to each other. And I keep saying that because that's what I want you to do when you go out to lunch. So there are two types of resiliency. One is a natural resilient. We call this the indomitable children, a la who? Oprah Winfrey, Viola Davis. For those of you over 50, you may remember Senator Moynihan grew up in Hell's Kitchen and became a hellion in Washington. Two, we have the learned ones, those that learned how to leverage their resiliency. I was a learned child. Don't forget, I was bullied. That stays with you for a long time. But I had a phenomenal mother. And my mother, when everyone in the family said, oh, please, if she gets an A, it's fine. If she gets a D, it's fine. Probably a flunk out of school. Well, my mother said, honey, don't worry about it. If you can't be an orchid, be the best damn daisy in the field. So if you have a child that is quiet, disengaged, sometimes you call them lazy, uninteresting, they may be a daisy ready to bloom also. My mother also taught me another thing. She said, honey, you always have choices. You have the choice to be fearful or fearless, joyful or joyless, positive or negative. What I didn't know was that my mother was shaping my character to be a positive person and to have what I call a richness mentality. That's where you make a conscious and sometimes an unconscious decision to live a fulfilled life. I think we're going so fast that we don't stop to look to see whether or not what we want is what we have. Have you ever seen this? First you're 20, and then you're 40, and then you're 35. I mean, that's just the way it is. So I became a possibility thinker, and I paid attention a lot. I will tell you that there is one time in life when my resiliency didn't help me, when that muscle dissipated, when my richness mentality disappeared, and that was at the death of my husband. I had a sweet life. It was delicious. Every morning, my husband, who was a cantor, would wake me up with a blessing. He had a gorgeous bass baritone voice. We would get up and about and dance to the Gypsy Kings at 6:30 in the morning, and I won't tell you anything else because we're on camera. We would teach each other how to co-create gourmet cooking. I was usually the sous chef at that time. In other words, I did the dishes. It was a great life. I taught him how to read trash. He taught me how to read biographies. We traveled from Tarzana to Paris, always having fun. You know, my husband was 67 when we married, and we were married for 20 years. And when he died, I was convinced that I would never have that type of relationship again, where you focused on joy. You didn't focus on trivia. How many know that one? Now, so he died, and many of you in this room may not resonate with this type of an experience, but I will tell you, if you are here and you are breathing, you have had a loss of some type. It may not have been a partner, it might have been a friend, a beloved pet, a title, an income, a home, something that has given you cause to experience grief. Well, I experienced it at an 11 level that I never even knew existed. And much to the chagrin of all my friends, I went inside and I stayed there for 2 years. And that's the way that was. nothing would bring me out of it. And what I finally decided was that I'm a results-oriented person. And everyone kept saying, why don't you go to a grief group? I said, well, okay, what the hell, I might as well. I'll probably run one day. I have to learn how to do it. I always believed in getting ready as you're doing it. So I said, okay, I will go to a grief group, and I will learn what they have to offer. Well, I learned more than that. I learned that you do not die or have to die from a broken heart. I learned and relearned assumption. Never make an assumption about the person sitting next to you or behind you. You don't know who they are or what they are. One day I'm going to write a book called On the Surface. We don't know. You see this package? Hot, huh? Pretty hot? You would not have believed that I had the depths of despair that I did. And my friends were shocked at that. But I learned from all these people who were also mourning, and I learned their experiences. Only they knew what it was like to get in the car and start crying because you were taking your husband to the doctor 4 times a week. It's not that my friends didn't understand. My friends stayed with me during the whole time. Many of them are friends today and in this room. But I will tell you, once something happens to you, you are never the same. You're never the same again. You're different. So what I had to do was dig down into my beliefs. Well, I didn't believe very much at the time, and I have a friend by the name of Reverend Sue who would call me and say, Tess, I have an affirmation for you. I don't want it. I don't believe in any of that stuff. Come on. So she'd say, well, I'm bringing you over dinner. I would say, never mind dinner, bring scotch. So it's like, woohoo. It doesn't matter if you drink martinis or lemonade, you're still taking the ride. Well, I wasn't taking the ride. And I'm a results-oriented person. So I had to say to myself, okay, I want results. So if I change my behavior, I'll get different results. And if I change my attitude, then I'm going to change my behavior. And then finally, if I get it, I'm going to believe in it, maybe, if I get it or I don't get it. The issue is that I had to walk backwards. This was the wrong way to go. You have to start with your beliefs. What did I really believe that would change my attitude? I believed in myself. I believed in my work. I forgot how much my work fed me. My attitude had to shift. I could no longer stagnate. My behavior, that meant that I had to get out and do something different. You cannot stay the same. If you are comfortable, you aren't growing. If you aren't uncomfortable, you aren't resilient, because that's what that is. And results, finally you get some results. And what I had to do was to really start a resiliency mindset, recreate it. And you have to do 4 things. 1, I had to unlearn the power of depression, grief. You can create another life. It won't be the same, but I have a lot of people I love. I had to unlearn what not doing anything and going inside was all about. Then I had to learn. I had to relearn how to start a private practice. Don't forget, I had been away for 5 years. So what did I have to do? I had to learn how to talk to the millennials. I can't even pronounce the word. And boomers were different than they ever were before. And they're healthier, they're happier, they have more money, they're having a good time. They will not retire at 65. Trust me, they won't. So I had to learn how to communicate with them, right? I had to learn how to communicate with those 18 to 34-year-olds. So I had to take lessons on Facebook and LinkedIn, and I have a Twitter account, and I know how to Skype, and I find it great fun to do that. So what did I need to do at that point? I had to apply what I was talking about. You know, are you walking your talk? Am I going to stay this way for 5 more years? No. No, I will not. I cannot. So I had to start applying, recreating a life. So what did I do? I took Zumba. I joined a gym for the 10th time. And I actually used it. And I have a trainer 4 times a week. Look at this muscle. Look at this. So I used it. And I always ridiculed women who played mahjong. Does anyone play mahjong? It's great for the brain and great fun, and I have a good time with it. And then I became a gourmet cook. And that's only because I went to Weight Watchers. I couldn't eat the way I used to. So I'm asking you today to apply something new. Now, 3 people have already asked you to do that. If you are an extrovert, at lunch, practice being quiet. Practice. Listen to what all the extroverts are laughing, or are those the introverts? If you are an introvert, ask a question. Ask what inspired you today. Give something of yourself away. I think that people who talk a lot are doing it to fill up the space. So give something away. And if you're uncomfortable, then use my mantra, which is I fill my mind with harmony, peace, love. That comes through a telephone. And whenever anxiety, fear, or depression call, they get a busy signal. And soon they stop calling. So they stop calling. So what is it that inspires you? What is it that inspires you? Then I had to become a model. What good is it if you don't model the behavior you're learning or teaching? So I became a model, and I knew I didn't have a lot of time. I'm going to be 82 next year. So at that age, let me tell you, you don't buy green bananas. That's it. So I knew that I had 2 choices. I had the choice of being better, or I had the choice of being bitter. I chose better, and I hope you will too. Cheers.